Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jessica Sharon, and on behalf of the Aphasia Access Resource Exchange Committee, I'm thrilled to welcome you to this special series of virtual brag and steals. In honor of Aphasia Awareness Month, we are having part 2 of the Brag and Steal series featuring the experts, those living with aphasia. Thank you so much for joining us today. Just like part 1, part 2 is a mix of live and pre-recorded presentations with a question and answer panel at the end. So now I'd like to turn it over to our very talented moderator, Miranda Babiak from the VA Pittsburgh Health System, to introduce our wonderful presenters.
Thank you so much, Jessica. So as Jessica said, this is a wonderful day for us here at Aphasia Access. This is part 2 of our hearing from our experts. We'll go ahead and just start off. Our first presenters today, we have Tim Carosi and Bernadine Gagnon with the title of the presentation, How I Got My Groove Back.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Bernadine Gagnon, and I am coming here from Teachers College, Columbia University. And I'm excited to introduce Tim Carosi, a wonderful member of our aphasia community here and a person living with aphasia.
Thank you, everyone at Aphasia Access, for allowing me to tell my story. My name is Tim Carosi, and I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey as a musician and a person living with aphasia. I have a 13-year-old son and my wife, Sarah. I was a professional actor and singer for about 15 years. I performed in several bands that played as many of my own songs as a songwriter, as well as covers. I performed with my bands all over the country, Canada, and Asia. When I wasn't performing music, I was teaching. I worked as a music educator for 3 years, focusing as piano and singing lessons. I acted in several different musicals, including Sweeney Todd, Assassins, and Jesus Christ Superstar. Before I got married, I was touring all the time, and I wanted to have a regular work life. So I stopped music and worked in hospitality, long hours and lots of work. Here's a picture of my wife and son, and a picture of the musical Assassins, and a picture of my former band, and a clip of some of my music. She comes downstairs, loading.
Sorry. My stroke journey.
I had my stroke on Christmas Day in 2018, if that didn't turn you into the Grinch. I was diagnosed with aphasia, which I found out was because of a hole in my heart. I lost my language, and thus I could not read, write, or speak well. Aphasia changed my life. It caused me to lose my words and my language, and it changed my relationship with my songwriting, but it never impacted the love I have for music. Like many aphasia friends, I had to start over. I had to learn bus. What's a bus? I had to start with my words and then sentences and paragraphs. It took years. Music took a backseat. I just wanted to be able to speak clearly. Those were my priorities. Being able to communicate with my son, my wife, and our family and friends. That was the most important.
A stroke happened. Now what?
People are relieved you're alive. Sometimes people get it, but some of the people don't understand what aphasia is. After 2.5 years, it still kind of sucked. I didn't really know how to deal with my new self. Hey, it's you. You're just the same. Yeah, but it's not me. And who I was, the one I knew, I had to shift my identity. Lots of challenges and frustration. But it also gave me the ability to spend time with my son, being a stay-at-home dad. If I was working all the time, I would never be able to have this gift.
How I got my groove back.
It also allowed me to spend time with my music and getting therapy. In 2019, I started going to Teachers College, Columbia University, to work on my speech. Bernadine and my student clinicians, they got my back. I worked on my speech, figurative language, and ways to help my songwriting. I attended group meetings as well.
Grooving.
I was trying to sing and practice my piano on my own. It was about 60 to 70% of my baseline. At first, it was kind of depressing, but with practice, it kept getting better. I realized that not all hope was lost. I talked to my friend Marco, who is an old friend and guitarist, and told him about my goal was to play music at the Teachers College Aphasia group. I knew it would be a safe place. We planned to do this right before COVID. However, COVID happened and this gave us more time to practice. Not all bad. This really allowed me to gain my confidence.
My performance.
I also was able to finish the lyrics of a song I was working on, be it bad or good. It took me about 18 months to finish the song. Actually, everything was really crap for about 14 months, but the last 4 months actually accelerated, which is another story. On February 4th, 2023, I performed my music. Performing felt comfortable and really loving. It was the first time my son saw me performing live music. Being able to sing, to write, and find ways to express and communicate to my son and family, to the world, that is my dream. And here's a clip of my performance.
Yeah, we got the first couple of chords, Tim, and then it didn't play through. But we will figure out how to make sure that we share that still. Plenty of ways, and I'll reach out to y'all and we'll get that clip out to not only these folks, but look for it in the next one of the next e-newsletters too, if you'll have us put it there. But I'll be in touch.
Okay.
Well, thank you for listening and hearing about my stroke and musical journey. It was really fun. Thank you to my family. Thank you and your wonderful Aphasia group participants and friends at Teachers College. Thanks a lot.
And if you want to get in touch with myself, Bernadine, or Tim, here's our email. We would love to talk more with all of you. And I'd love to share more of Tim's music with anybody that wants to listen. And here's more about our clinic here at Teachers College, our groups, and other ways to access aphasia groups in the New York City area as well. Thank you so much, everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tim and Bernadine. Tim, there was just so much in there that I would love to touch on and can't wait to ask questions and hear more at the end. So thank you both. That was a great way to kick it off.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead to our second presenter. We have Alfred Bloom and Mary Marcus. They have a pre-recorded video that would be played for you now, and we'll just let that go. Thank you.
Round two is always the charm.
Okay, 1 second here.
Dysarthria, it is sometimes difficult to understand him, so please feel free to read along with the text on the slides.
I am Alfred Bloom, a patient with aphasia. I'm through my stroke in 3 pennies. I was fluent in English, the Spanish, French, and Mandarin Chinese. I started my career at Aphasia College as an assistant professor in psychology and as first director of the linguistic program. Our research focused on differences between the Chinese and Western cognitive styles. Later in my career, I returned to Aphasia College as its president for 18 years. I then served first vice chancellor of Abu Dhabi for 11 years. In 2020, I accepted the position of executive vice chancellor at Duke University in China. And on 2020, I had a stroke all in China, resulting in aphasia, aphasia, and aphasia. I returned home for the summer to begin rehabilitation. Since my return, I have participated in each civil and occupational therapy at NYU. One of my teach lessons, my workers, recommend the new books by John Ross, Jane, way that changes itself and the way you feel it. These books illustrate under the right conditions through no lectures have a potential for fake damage control methods changing life to new learning. This phenomenon shows neuroplasticity. Prior to reading these books, I did not recognize that the brain was capable of self-repair as a stroke injury. I had never heard the word neuroplasticity, and I was in what was enriched by research findings, and the climate change was in the air. I read about the monkey and human experiments. I was struck by the realization that one of the way established the way that the other is lacking. So now the natural culture take over that space. For the global of procession for neuroplasticity, I was feeling sorry by the fact of confidence in my recovery. Year and a half have passed since my stroke, and I was searching for something new. Reading Dodge's books, I felt a new path to recovery was possible and has changed my life. I now ashamed way volume is possible. In that I gain the right choices, I had 2 months. I had 2 measures, but I routine. DEES. New language therapy and participation in a we can test growth in our failure program. I have the new confidence in my recovery. I want to share this audience the potential for healing the brain so you can seek out other avenues for change the status quo. After the suffering of smoke, the broken broken one as the answer, and now hope for new connections to form from other parts of the land. In order to reach the base full power. I hope these low hope has led me, but I rekindle my passion for education by seeking you today.
Thank you.
Thank you. That, Alfred, you are so impressive, the experience that you have, and also just, you know, sharing how learning about neuroplasticity has sort of made you feel this new path to recovery, as you said. I can't wait to hear more about it. Thank you so much for that presentation. All right. So third in our lineup, we have Shai Anbar. This will also be a pre-recorded presentation titled I Am an Aphasian. Are You an Aphasian Too? An Aphasia Advocate's Journey to Self-Discovery.
And Shai, I'm getting us ready. So 1 second here. We'll have the screen share going in no time. Here we go.
Just bring your popcorn and enjoy.
Amen. Amen. 2 more buttons to go. Thanks for your patience, folks. Just making sure we get to the right place. Hopefully you can see my screen, and don't hesitate to chime in and say, what's up, Todd, if you don't see the video or the sound comes off in error. Just let me know.
Did you know that William Shakespeare invented or introduced over 1,700 words? Out, you rogue! You pluck my foot awry. 'Tis not words that shakes me thus. But seriously, I'm Shai, and I am an Aphasian. Aphasian, not Martian. I don't live on planet Mars, although Aphasians like me do live on planet Aphasia, where language boundaries are sometimes tricky. But words, phrases, expressions, and metaphors, like Goddess Aphasia, all creatively invented? Now we're talking. First, however, is first. Why do I have your attention? Just hear me out. When my stroke happened 11 years ago, I lost almost everything, including my joy, my pride, and my dignity, until I got shown the light, oddly enough, through my aphasia. See, it was her who barged into my life, unannounced, begging me to write, spreading her word, the word aphasia. Sorry for your loss, Shai, and you are permanently stuck with me. But if you find yourself first, then I'll show you the light. Wait, Shai, her? She? Who's aphasia? Well, allow me to retort.
Oh, well, allow me to retort.
My novella, Goddess Aphasia, is a hybrid of memoir and creative non-fiction that depicts the arduous journey of a stroke survivor diagnosed with aphasia, with a quirky twist, the personified character of aphasia herself. As a businessman turned aphasia advocate, my sole intention was to raise awareness about aphasia so that it becomes more than just a term in a medical textbook. How then could I get that name aphasia known? Ah, that's when the unconventional, or zany, thank you Shakespeare, kicks in. Because it occurred to me that aphasia is a Greek word that means speechless. Why not bring Greek mythology? Zeus, Venus, Aphrodite. Aphrodite is a goddess of love. Athena is a goddess of peace and war. Aphasia is a goddess of lost words. So here I am, inventing a character, a metaphor of a goddess, and using the term aphasians, branding our medical condition, hopefully with a smile and a pinch of salt. Semantics do open many doors into vast, uncharted waters. My moral story? How, Cordelia, mend your speech a little. But I prefer bend my speech a little, and I sure hope that my story won't be Greek to you anymore. Cut.
All right. I was laughing to myself over here multiple times. Shai, the creativity and the way that you tell the story of aphasia there as a goddess who barged into your life. I just think this is a really interesting, creative, fun way to speak about aphasia and tell about your experience. So thank you so much for that, and really look forward to the Q&A too, so we can ask more about it. All right, we are speeding along though. So our fourth presenter will have Bill Kennedy, and his sister Tracy is also with him today.
Yeah.
And Bill is going to be presenting live.
Yeah.
And Bill, your presentation we have written here is advice for therapists and doctors.
Okay.
All right, I think we're going to be sharing your slides on our end. Yep, perfect. Okay, go ahead, Bill.
Bill Kennedy is vice view about aphasia. I have 3 or 4 advice to give to you. 1,
Next slide. Next slide.
if the 3 or 4 choices find you stuck. 1, 2, look at me when you talk
Next slide.
to me. 3,
Next slide.
recovery take a long time and it's frustrating, but it's easier when talk to you when it's frustrating. Yep. So like say no lies.
Next slide.
4,
Next slide.
write things down or draw things for me. Thank you.
Next slide.
Yeah, thank you. God. Man,
Great.
yeah.
Bill, thank you for sharing
Yeah.
those 4 wonderful pieces of advice. I
Yeah.
think it's so essential to advocate for yourself and what helps, what you need, but also what other people
Yeah.
might need. And so for us to kind of hear that and know that, it's very important. So
Okay.
thank you very
Yeah.
much for sharing that today. Okay. So our fifth presenter, we have Asher Sharf. We have a pre-recorded video, and Asher will be speaking on aphasia advocacy in Israel.
Hi, I'm Asher Sharf. I'm 70 years old. I was born in the US and I live in Israel since the age of 25. In that year, 6 months after I immigrated to Israel, I had a stroke, resulting in the paralysis of my right side and also a loss of speech. The paralysis slowly diminished, but I still had difficulty in communication. Since I am bilingual, my speech first improved in English and then later in Hebrew. The first 10 years after my stroke were very challenging. I was concerned with making myself understood, learning how to be a father to my infant son, and the growing realization that I was not the same person as I used to be. My wife and friends were constantly encouraging me to practice speaking and to being a part of the community. In addition to the speech therapist, I was aided by friends who engaged me in conversation, not intimidated by the apparent changes in my conversation. Today, my reading and writing is back to normal, but I still have difficulty in word retrieval, especially when discussing abstract concepts and ideas. I also have difficulty in spontaneous conversation, so it's a challenge for me to follow and to take part in social conversation. The result of my communication difficulties sometimes lead to a lack of self-confidence, with the subsequent tension and frustration. Since the stroke happened so many years ago, when I converse today with friends who've known me for years, I rarely discuss my aphasia. It's difficult to explain to them the workings of my mind and how it relates to words and ideas I try to express. Since last summer, I've been attending the Adler Center for Aphasia in Jerusalem. In the center, we have several speech and communication groups aiming to help the aphasic patient. One of these groups is called Ambassadors for Aphasia Advocacy. In that group, in which I am a member, we are providing information about aphasia to health professionals and to the general public from the perspective of people that have aphasia. We are using several avenues of communication, such as newsletters, podcasts, Facebook, advertisements, and other social media. The aim of the aphasia ambassadors is to propagate the message that people with aphasia are thinking people who have difficulty in communication. Aphasia advocacy awareness tells health professionals and the general public about our disability. Knowledge brings people together so that they're not afraid of talking to someone like me with aphasia. Since aphasia has an influence on the ability to communicate with others, sometimes it's difficult for me to explain what the disability is, because I don't know or remember the words to explain it. But in the year that I've been attending the Adler Center, I feel I can finally use the word aphasia when talking to friends who up until now aren't aware of the disability I have. I can overcome the inner fear of basically explaining the disorder, how it affects me, and what we, they and I, can do to make our communication better. And that, I think, is what aphasia awareness is all about. Thank you.
That's really great, Asher. That's really interesting to hear about how you feel like being a member of that group, being an ambassador has really kind of helped you use the word aphasia and I think help explain to others what that's felt like and what they can do to help. And I look forward to hearing more about that journey kind of during our panel. Thank you so much. All right, that leaves, last but not least, we have Rose Schuff, who is going to, we'll have a pre-recorded presentation that's titled Building Community, Lessons Learned from Starting My Own Aphasia Center.
Today, we're going to talk about lessons learned from starting my own aphasia center. I'm the CAO and founder of Aphasia Center of Acadiana. I'm Rose Schuff. Aphasia is a silent disability, but it doesn't have to be. Dr. Jack Domingo gave me my scientific data to start the nonprofit. Recently, years ago, the parish president signed the June Aphasia Awareness Proclamation, and we found out that his family members had a stroke and has aphasia. Partnering with the university provided physical space for the sessions and an office. I just love the student clinicians, and it's a win-win situation for the student clinicians and the people with aphasia. Growth and challenges is the first obstacle we raised. We were limited parking, space, and supervision. We're partnering with the local SLPs to offer services that further our mission. We've gotten the support group started in Lake Charles and New Iberia, and we've gotten book clubs in New Iberia and Lafayette, and we've started an out and about group that last time we went to a museum. And then, of course, Black Aphasia group starting on Zoom. And we're limited in the university. That's why we've got to support our local SLPs to further our mission outside of the university. Friends and family are an integral part of the Aphasia Center. Our goals shifted over time. We've got groups of caregivers and people with aphasia and people with dementia. We started that group last month. Another win-win situation that creates a larger volunteer base and connections with the communities, and it's an integral part. Fundraising is an integral part of being a nonprofit, and we've got community leaders that help in that, and we've got a crawfish bowl. That's our first fundraiser, and we've had two dinners that we had no tickets left, but finding board members that has connections and expertise is a you need that. We've got a fundraiser lady that was her job, and we've got a grant recently, and we're spending that money as we speak. And I've had nonprofit experience before and after aphasia in my stroke. But if you want to serve on any nonprofit boards or just do anything of service, that will be experience for you that will be great in the long run. Here's our contact information, and thank you for Aphasia Access.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rose. I would like to go ahead and just have a big round of applause, virtual round of applause, everyone here. Just thank you so, so much to all of our presenters. That was just fantastic. I know it can take, it's a big deal to present to a group and to this size of a group. I'm nervous just to moderate. And so I really appreciate everyone sharing your stories, sharing your insights, and like we said, helping to hearing from all of you is so helpful for us. So thank you. I want to start out, and 5 minutes is pretty short. We ask for these brag and steals to be short. So some of our presenters, I wanted to ask, is there anything you would like to say or add that you didn't get to say in your presentation? Or it could even be just any final comments or kernels of wisdom.
I think the most important is, it's wonderful how everybody is our advocates. We are ambassadors in a way, and it's so wonderful how to see in different, shades. Like all of us have, aphasia, we have different shades, and so do our stories, sometimes with humor, sometimes it's not, sometimes, but being together and having, I call it SLPs, but but for all of them and everybody, for Todd and everyone at the Aphasia Access, but for all of us, we're part of a community. I call it the Aphasian community, but it's not just, Aphasians and not, so just all I can say is, how proud I am, for me and for everybody here for what we're doing here. So just keep going on.
Yeah, that's such a great way to to frame that shy as everyone being a part of this community. And how you pointed out, everyone in their own way who presented today is advocating and is really representing this community of people with aphasia and how, how that is. So that's awesome. Thank you. Did anyone else have any comments or anything?
I
Yes.
think Al wanted to say something.
I'd like to reiterate how the group is treating together and has a message that hope for aphasia. But
Message of hope for aphasia. This is a message of hope for aphasia.
Research on aphasia is his hope that even though it takes a long time, the brain is regenerative and
The brain is regenerative.
hope for aphasia is
Hope for aphasia is
it looks like aphasia is progressing, but it isn't. It's like regenerative pain is worthwhile, and I like to say thank you for the research as done that possible.
Get that?
Yes. Thank you, Al. So is it okay that I call you Al? I'm so sorry. Is Al okay? I saw
Yes.
someone say that in the comments, and so I was like, I hope that's okay. So Al, I heard you talk about hope and how important that is. And your talk was really great. And I can tell how much this idea of that regeneration and that nature of healing and improving, how even that gives hope. And then the thank you. So thank you, I mean, for the comment and for sharing. Really appreciate it. I don't know if everyone's gotten a chance to scroll through the chat, but you can just see there's an overwhelming number of people just saying what a great job all of the presenters did. So many nice comments. I have some questions if that's okay. But I would also, like I said, I love to just open it up and get anything from the presenters. Uh-oh, Tim, you're getting called out to sing for us. Jerry says, can Tim sing for us? We didn't hear him.
Yeah.
We won't put you on the spot like that, but we will look forward to getting a link of your music video.
That's something my mother, it was very funny. I'm actually really easy singing with like large groups. But whenever I'm with like a small person like that, it actually feels that's when I feel self-conscious, which is ridiculous. Because if I was doing like with 1,000 people, I'm totally fine with that. But like with small thing, but I guess there are a lot of people here. It seems, yeah.
So you don't like serenading.
Exactly.
Okay, but big groups you can perform for. So we did have a question come through for you, Tim, while I have you on the spotlight. So, Tim, would you have any words of wisdom for other people who have musical backgrounds and maybe want to re-engage in music, but might feel disappointed by not being able to play like they used to, maybe read music or sing? Do you have any words of wisdom for how
Yeah, well, I think that is the thing is with many things we do, like you feel like, okay, I can do, or I was really good with this. And then you feel like I'm not like what I was before. And I think it really just takes a lot of time. And I think when I was saying this, it's the same thing. It took years for me to be able to really even feel like, okay, I'm kind of like what I was with my singing. And the first time we started before COVID, I wasn't going to play my guitar. I was just literally going to be like looking at my words and try to figure that out, because 2 years ago, that was all I could do. And so I think, it sounds also, again, it takes a long time, but I think you just got to keep going, and you will realize, yes, I'm getting a little better with that regeneration, everything, you will get better. And that's why I feel a little bit better. I still look at my thing, I'm like, oh, I'm not as good as I was, or this, but I still feel like I know that in a year or 2 years or 5 years, that we get better. And I think you have to remember that it just takes a lot of time, a lot of repetition.
Yeah, I can see we have a group. Camille Hayward has a hand is raised, but I see we've got multiple people. So unmute yourself, and yeah, I'd love to hear what you'll have to ask or say.
Hi, we just wanted to give a shout out to Al and Bill, who Bill gave us a shout out, not Bill, Al gave us a shout out, the ICAP program at NYU. So as the ICAP clinicians, we just wanted to say we're so proud of you guys and that it was great.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
It's great to see the support here. Like we said, that word community now just keeps popping into my head. This is a great community. Let me double check here. I have another question lined up, but I want to make sure I'm not missing anything that's coming through. All right, yeah, like I said, just a lot of this has been fabulous. Thank you to everyone. I'll go in chronological order here. So Al, there was a question that came through for you. Let's see. Oh, so yeah, someone had told me that they also have read Dr. Deutsch's books, and your presentation was a great reminder of the value of those books and the value of neuroplasticity as a topic. Do you know, Al, if that book is available as an audiobook?
Yes, I took advantage of it because it's a very complicated book and full of information, and I was being made to I was glad to have the opportunity to
hear it.
So when you read it, did you read it and use it as an audiobook?
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah. And what was your experience like? You said it was complicated. That the book. Yeah.
I appreciate the complexity, and I think I say you're all mentally aware people, and I say even Aphasia is not intellectual impairment. It's loss of language, and I hold that all the languages there can make things simple and beautiful.
Did you get that? Trying to
I
make sure.
got some of that.
Yeah,
Yes. Could you summarize it a little bit, please?
He really appreciated the complexity of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said we're all intelligent people because aphasia
Absolutely.
is not an intellectual impairment, it is a language impairment. And so Al listened to it and read it and listened to it multiple times. I think he went over the chapters he was interested in many times until he felt like he got it. I was reading it on my own and then we would discuss it. This sort of turned into our therapy, right, for a couple of months.
Yeah.
That was well worth reading.
It was well worth reading.
Well worth reading. And Al, as someone who has spoke 4 languages, I mean, you are not a stranger, it seems, to complexity and taking on challenges, because that is so impressive. Really cool. But yeah, I think that's a really great reminder of just using any tool available to help, both with the reading and the audiobook, pairing them together, rereading. Tim, you spoke to the idea of practice, and you know, if something's hard, to just keep doing it. So great, great comments and insights. Okay, let's see. Thank you. I'm going to keep going down the line here. So I have a question here for Shai. Shai, first of all, just thank you so much for raising awareness in such an engaging way. I think this, you really bring such a fun twist to this and such a creative twist. And one of the questions came up that for you, how did it, or did it, I guess, help in your healing to personify aphasia, to make aphasia this other thing? Like, was that important to you in your recovery? Did that help you? How do you kind of see that relationship there?
Well, I think part of what I've seen, and I'm not sure if it's in Tim, but I think someone said that you know, for about 2 years or so, you were really in a horrible way, or my life was horrible after my stroke. You know, so bad. You know, the hopelessness and the gloom and isolation and everything about it. And you know, but I just, a kind of long story, but I think it's the bottom line was, I think when you get to a point, like all of us, it's almost like a something blocks you. You know, it's almost like driving your car and then a big tree falls, and like, now what? Like, how do you get out? You know, and so you find a different way. As to me with aphasia, and when I kind of saw the light, and I said, and because I have a dialogue with myself, you know, I used to be this, I used to be whatever. Suddenly I have nothing. So I look at the positive. Thankfully, I looked at the half full glass of things. Of okay, well then what can I do? Well, I got to do completely out of the box. I have to go to a different way, and that's how this, you know, language, you know, was part of me. And so what you saw, and this is exactly what happened with me. I was just have a dialogue with myself with who? Well, call it her, call it, call whatever. But the dialogue, you find yourself much more, you know, when you get rid of, you know, fear, insecurity, shame, you know, self-importance, and you've left nothing, like like a butt naked in a way. And you know, you look at how wonderful it is when I'm free in a way. Well, now let's find a different way. I do it with passion, through my cooking, for my you know, music, instruments, guitars and piano, because I want to do my own, not just copy something, but every day is new, just like neuroplasticity that they talked about. If you really mode and you do it in a different way, then, you know, screw it. Let's do it in the best way. Let's live it, damn it. And this is what I try to do with aphasia, finite goddess aphasia, whatever it is. Are you divine? Yes, you are. So am I. And so is aphasia. She's a divine. She's a goddess. Therefore, so I don't know if I really answered the question correct, but all I'm saying is, you know, we have nothing left. You make choices, which is a good thing to choose. You know, there are a lot of people who don't, but you know, I chose life, and I chose to be an advocate.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you absolutely answered the question there. And I noticed Rose was nodding along
Yes.
at some of those parts, especially around you wake up and you kind of find yourself saying, you know, what can I do now? What do I do? Rose, I would love to hear. I mean, so you started an aphasia center, and everyone here really kind of has talked about being an advocate or, you know, starting something, finding projects that keep you going. And so, Rose, I would love to hear you comment on this idea of maybe your identity and healing and how starting the Aphasia Center maybe led to that too, or.
Yeah, I was lost. I loved my job previously. I was a conservationist, and I love to go out and be in nature, and I lost my identity through my stroke, but it took me about a year, 5 years or something like that to think of this idea that I could start a nonprofit. And I pitched the idea to Dr. Jack Domingo, and we waited for about 2 years for it to finally get to fruition. So anyway, I just thank the university and the staff and everything for allowing me to. It's like a big family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and starting a nonprofit is no small feat. I think, yeah, I think it can definitely be applauded. Congratulations on the success of that. It is not easy. And you're an absolute inspiration then for people who want to be starting something themselves, or big or small, you know.
Yes,
absolutely.
And I think the Dr. Jamie Arios for putting this. I started to fizzle out, but she kept me going and building this. She's an inspiration to all of the local SLPs. Or so anyway.
Yeah, and making those connections in the community with other people who care about the same things is a great, that word of community again. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. I wanted to go over to Bill. Bill, you talked about advocating for yourself and some advice.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about how you see yourself now as an advocate.
Yeah.
How have you grown into that role of advocating for yourself?
Oh, wow. I think
Is there any way I could share my screen and show a picture
Yeah.
of Bill in the lobby of NYU Medical Center
Yeah.
advocating and educating people about aphasia?
Oh, sure. So this is Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth, you've worked with Bill, is that right?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All
Yes,
right.
I wasn't his primary clinician, but he was in an ICAP that I just recently
Yeah.
was running.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have a picture of Bill advocating in the lobby. Let's see it.
Here's
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
He's in the lobby here. Can you see that?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And
Oh.
Bill called people over, right, Bill?
Yep.
You called them
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thanks to something I learned at Aphasia Access from Fabi Hirsch, we had a list there on the table. What's your favorite way of communicating?
Yeah.
And we pointed them out.
Yes.
And that's the list on the right-hand side there.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill, how did you feel when you first started doing that?
Yeah, good. They're to the way to do it gradually. So
Gradually.
yeah, gradually. So now like easier, but
And we had scripts, like we wrote out things that you wanted to say, that we had worked with the group on, the ICAP group on. People in the ICAP kind of took turns in the lobby and sometimes went with a small group. And so it helped, but it was very nice to do it. You did it. It was,
Yeah.
you did a great job.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Way to keep spreading the word.
Yes.
Way to go. Tim wrote in, way to go, Bill.
Yes.
Also uses the list.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We've got a good sharing of resources now too.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Bill. And
Yeah.
Asher, you also spoke about advocacy. We had a comment for you. Elizabeth said, Asher, your presentation reminds me to let people know that aphasia recovery is lifelong. It does not stop. Thank you for sharing that after many years with aphasia, you continue to live and learn. And so then Esther asked a question for you, Asher. Asher, do you have any advice for connecting with groups or people to spread the word about aphasia? Did you reach out directly, or do you do presentations and other things like that?
Yes, well, about a half a year ago, actually, as in part of the Adler advocacy. So I was asked about 3/4 of a year ago to make a presentation to graduate students in a seminar. And that was really the first time that I made a speech about what I've been through and what can be done about it. And since then, I've been giving speeches in English and in Hebrew to different small groups. And it's through the Adler Center that they asked me to give these presentations, and I give them. And
yeah. And one of the things you had mentioned was being able to use the word aphasia like it wasn't until you joined this group that you were finally using the word aphasia.
Yeah,
Yeah, would you explain that?
I had this sort of mental block against about using the word aphasia, since for many years haven't told anybody about aphasia, or I just live my life, and I've worked and family, and I haven't really told them anything about aphasia. And since I've joined the Adler Center, it's helped me to, with the communication groups, to express what I'm feeling and to really use the word aphasia. Slowly, it's becoming more natural for me. I still have a little problem, but it's becoming better.
I think that it reminds me, as someone who works with people with aphasia and not someone who's gone through it myself, that everyone is on their own journey with it. And
Right.
I think that idea of, like you said, like there was almost this block. I think that's absolutely valid. When, you know, as Shai kind of said in his presentation, no one asked to have aphasia. It happens. It just happens one day that it comes into your life, and everyone's on that journey to living their best life with aphasia. And really, yeah, I think it's such an important reminder. I thank you for sharing that with us, because I bet that can be hard to even admit sometimes, that it was hard at one point to even use that word.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Asher, are you joining us from Jerusalem?
Right. Yeah.
It is late there.
Yeah, it's after 11 o'clock at night.
Thank you for that.
I'm usually asleep by this time, but
You are committed. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, this is amazing. I hope you get to sleep in tomorrow. So I got a message. We have just 2 minutes left. And I got a message that Tim would like to try to share his video again so that we can see if the audio works.
That was
Oh,
We want to try. We want to try really.
Please, I would love to go out on this happy note. That'd be amazing.
Okay, let's see. I'm not muted right now.
Nope.
Do you hear me? Wait.
You
in?
Wait 1 second. Okay. I just want to make sure. Sorry. Let's just see. We'll try this one and the other one. Hear it?
A little bit. It starts strong and then we lose it.
Yeah, I think Zoom almost like filters it out. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Don't hear it.
Kayla suggests, is there an option to optimize video for sound?
Let's see.
Yeah, when you go to share your screen, it should have an option at the bottom for video and sharing sound.
Optimize, share sound. Yes.
Optimize for video clip. Let's try that.
Okay, let's try it. Whoops. Yay! Worked.
That was awesome. You sound so
Perfect.
good. You have such a good voice. So impressive. And Tim, how fun that you said that was the first time your son got to hear you play live. Is that right?
Yeah, that was a really big thing. So yeah.
What
And
a-
he's heard me sing, but he's not heard this.
Oh, right. Perform. Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved it. that was such a great note to end on. I hope I got to everyone, and you all got to share what you wanted to with us. I know it was really, really valuable for us, and really appreciate you spending your time and your thoughts and wisdom, everything with us. It was so nice. Thank you so, so much. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining us, and take care.